Have you ever wondered how useful every transformation in Dragon Ball stack library was? Well, check it. I made a tier list from useless to integral. So if I happen to mention your favorite transformation a little bit early in the video, I hope you give me a chance to explain myself before just outright calling me wrong. Now we start from the bottom with,
why won't you adopt me?
Because you're black.
Starting with Super Saiyan Rage from episode 61 of Dragon Ball Super. Triggered by Goku Black's justification for his reasoning to slaughter all the mortals, Trunks, in defiance, claps back and leaves Goku Black speechless. Then the question kicks in, what is Rage Trunks? Fana was in disarray, wondering if Trunks tapped in the God Key, or did Trunks just unlock his latent potential, like most half-breeds usually have. And after some time, we see how the form is utilized, because while having the hype factor, it really doesn't have any narrative significance, even to the point where the manga never adapted that form. This truly just goes to show you, this form is as useless as it comes. 1 out of 10. Now, this is gonna seem as if I'm gonna be harping on Trunks, but Trunks had this coming. His Super Saiyan Grade 3 form from episode 161 of OG Dragon Ball Z. A form meant to explain why Vegeta is a battle genius and why Trunks' inexperience with fighting leads him to not have that same battle IQ like his father. When explained that the form that he uses sacrifices speed for more power and is useless in the fight. Easily 1 out of 10. Now in that same arc, we are given the legendary form of Super Saiyan 2. And I'm not going to be talking about Gohan's form of Super Saiyan 2. He used it perfectly. I am only going to be targeting the characters that have Super Saiyan 2, but they only use it as a placeholder for Super Saiyan 3. For those characters, Super Saiyan 2 has no usefulness to them. 2 out of 10. Character popularity can be revived in an instant. Just look at this transformation, and that's all you need to see. For if you look back in Twitter, Ultra Ego, there was nothing but people giving it praise all day long. However, as the arc wrapped up, and we look back on how useful that form performed within the arc, it truly wasn't needed. That form, after being presented, then proceeded to do nothing against Granola, nothing against Gas, and then get one-shotted by Black Frieza. And in a video that's only talking about how useful that form was for its particular moments, there is no way I can let Vegeta's new form slide off from this. So I gotta give it a 3 out of 10. Now we're finally leaving this tier, and now we're moving to...
That's why you have no grammar. Because she can pray to the god of destruction, bitch.
It really does hurt that I need to start with another Vegeta original form, but Super Vegeta from episode 152 of OG Dragon Ball Z meets these tiers description perfectly, because after debuting and scaring Semi-Perfect Cell by showing off his immense power, that form that showed us that the Super Saiyan ceiling has yet to even reach its maximum potential got benched so fast. When it came out, it stopped Semi-Perfect Cell from absorbing Android 18, for then Vegeta to give Android 18 up to Cell, which means him showing up did not change a thing, for Semi-Perfect Cell was going to get 18 and that form did nothing afterwards. But I will give it 1 additional point, because that form did give us the final flash. 6 out of 10. Moving away from the Saiyans and instead acknowledging my cape wearing superhero with 2 new forms, his potential unleashed and his orange form, both being introduced in Dragon Ball Super Superhero, and now letting Piccolo be in contention again for the Universe 7's big hitters, because this Thor built Iron Giant, Crimson Shin, Johnny Bravo type of form was brilliant. However, for how much I may love this form, it really wasn't needed in full honesty. For how much we have seen this form and how much this form was actually used, I cannot responsibly move him any further in this tier list than here. Fight against Gamma 2 was null and void because the Gammas were being tripped by Magente, and ultimately that fight between the Gammas mounted to a truce being made. And regarding with the fight with Cell Max, Piccolo could always go big. He didn't need Orange Piccolo to go bigger. And when it came to try to fight off Cell Max, he was still on the losing end. So even without Orange Piccolo, he may be losing even worse than he did if he did have Orange Piccolo. But my defense to that is, he was still going to be a motivational key part to unlocking Beast Gohan. So as much as I respect him, I really need to see more before I can call it useful. 6 out of 10. I was told that you shouldn't be afraid of what you say on the internet. And after this, next 2 forms, I think I have a good reason to be afraid. Because both Daima Super Saiyan 3 from episode 12 and Daima Super Saiyan 4 from episode 18 aren't doing anything except for looking good. Because was it really really necessary that Vegeta gets Super Saiyan 3, because the Dragon Balls were still gonna be used by Glorio behind everyone's back. Plus, if Vegeta lost to Tamagami 2, I'm pretty sure Goku would have came in and cleared that fight pretty easily. And then when you go to Goku's Super Saiyan 4 transformation, that of course injured Goma, but with him having the crazy eye, he was never going down. Some defenses I may hear would be, without Super Saiyan 4 Goku's realm-shattering Kamehameha, he wouldn't have been immobilized long enough for Piccolo to do his thing. And yet, even after Piccolo did his thing, he did not successfully land 3 direct hits. It was Majin Ku, on a whim, landing that consistent 3-hit combo on Goma, which again isn't to say the forms aren't cool, it's just they weren't useful. 6 out of 10. Now after those 2 special transformations, it's time to move up in the rankings to...
Excuse me?
Just getting down with the thickness.
This category is very stacked, so let's not waste any time. Kappa Super Saiyan 2 from episode 92 of Dragon Ball Super helped him defeat Mona of Universe 4. 6 out of 10. Caulifla Super Saiyan 2 from episode 92 helped her unlock the power to stand up and help Kale calm down when she was going through a berserk state. That would give it 5 out of 10. Trunks got Super Saiyan 2 in the game DragonBallZ Kakarot and in the Dragon Ball Super manga after Supreme Kai gave his life to save him, which then he proceeded to stop Majin Buu's revival. But victory was very much short-lived. 6 out of 10. Beast Gohan from Dragon Ball Super Superhero ultimately put an end to Cell Max. However, if Krillin can stagger Cell Max, and if Gotenks' headbutt can crack Cell Max's weak points, I really do feel like a good Kamehameha from Ultimate Gohan would have been enough to finish the fight. So really, the form did good, but it wasn't necessary. 7 out of 10. Speaking of Gohan, let's talk about his ultimate form. After it was introduced in the original Dragon Ball Z, episode 265, it had an abysmal showing. Because the form was used even more after that, it was able to rise in the usefulness. It helped in the tournament of power significantly, securing wins in the Dragon Ball Super manga against Kefla, and in the anime, it had defeated a numerous amount of players from the tournament. So with that impressive showing, it's only right that I give it a 7 out of 10. Now, Super Saiyan Blue Evolution from episode 123 of Dragon Ball Super, and the only thing that ends up happening with this form is that he used the form to wash the God of Destruction Toppo, and he didn't really bother to use the form against Broly, and then ends up pulling out that form during the last fight against Moro, which ultimately, it wasn't the form that helped defeat Moro, it was actually the technique. So it can't really be said that his form actually really changed anything that was actually really necessary. So taking all that into account, it's a 7 out of 10 for me. And I did previously just mention Blue Kaioken from episode 39 of Dragon Ball Super, and how it was used to impress all of the gods and overcome hits time stop ability. Yet narratively, Goku still ended up forfeiting a match, and in the Goku Black arc, the Blue Kaioken was only used to land one solid kick on Merge Zamasu after Goku's hands went numb. And in turn power, that Blue Kaioken was able to push back a spirit bomb that was being pushed back by Jiren, but ultimately still exploded at the end of the day. That is to say, the Blue Kaioken did give Goku extra power, but as for the times he used the Blue Kaioken, he didn't use it against anyone else. And even then, it was nothing to Jiren. Truly, this form really did show Goku's battle IQ, yet ultimately, the form ended up not being necessary, even to the point where the manga never adapted that form. 7 out of 10. Now, going back to 1997, when some Blood Waves came in contact with my god, Dragon Ball GT Vegeta, and gave us Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. And sure, it didn't put up a fight against Omega Shenron. Yeah, it was still there to create Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So biased as I am, I'm giving this a solid 7 out of 10. Now for this rare 2-for-1 special, we got Gotenks and Goku's Super Saiyan 3 transformations, because both of them really did have their moments. Like when Gotenks used the form to scream a wormhole outside the hyperbolic time chamber, and when Goku used that form to humiliate Fat Buu and stall long enough for Trunks to go get the radar. Both forms were utilized to help out their individual characters. Yet, in the fight against Kid Buu, it was ultimately that Super Saiyan 3 Goku didn't have the experience of handling that form within his human body to maintain it well, so that form just became a battery drainer, to where Vegeta, Mr. Satan, and Majin Buu had to stall long enough for the spirit bomb to be formed. And for Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, he just got absorbed, so his power basically, I guess, helped the enemy. So if you want to count that as useful for the enemy, then you can do that. But as for usefulness, in regards to every time we ever seen Super Saiyan 3, I mean, there's a reason Goku doesn't pull out Super Saiyan 3 that often. 7 out of 10. Woo! So now with all the lower ranks down, we can finally talk about the coup de grace.
He just started spinning his legs like a helicopter, and then the double knee drop like Robin!
Starting with one of the newest and longest named form in the series, Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan from Resurrection F. And hate it or love it, that form has done so much within the series. From becoming a new technique altogether when you fuse Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue in tandem, and how Super Saiyan Blue was the main reason Goku was able to do the Blue Kaioken, because of Blue's controlling property. Time has been good to Super Saiyan Blue. It has not fallen out of relevancy, it has only gotten better with time. And this form seems as if it's not going to be going away anytime soon. 8 out of 10. Now Now we truly cannot forget our roots from OG Dragon Ball, episode 12, where we first saw Oozaru Goku breaking the crew out and was able to stop Pilaf from making his ultimate wish of world domination. And after that, the Oozaru form just became a crucial everyday namesake to the Saiyan race. And not forgetting where it all started, I give this form 8 out of 10. So stop me if you heard this before. 5 pure-hearted Saiyans put their light into one, and then a Saiyan is born to be a god, a Super Saiyan god. Debuting in Battle of Gods, it is no question that without this form, Beerus would have destroyed the earth. And with this form, it granted our heroes a new form of power with God Ki, a brand new power system that even till this day still is being used. 9 out of 10. And a very much unexpected entry in this video would be from Dragon Ball GT episode 59, and it's not who you think it is. It is instead when Majin Buu gave up his life for Majub to be born. And even though Oob did lose the fight, it was thanks to Oob's reversal technique, able to stall baby out long enough for Goku to be ready for round 2. Plus, Oob is just a really cool character. 9 out of 10. Speaking of GT, obvious to say, in episode 35, we witnessed Super Saiyan 4 Goku being born. And then he proceeds to dusting Ice Shenron and Baby. 10 out of 10. Now, you know a form is truly legendary when almost 30 years later, you still remember back from OG Dragon Ball Z episode 184, when Gohan went Super Saiyan 2 against the antagonist Perfect Cell after receiving the final words from Android 16. Then Android 16 met his demise, and so did Cell. 10 out of 10. Now imagine you're fighting a brick wall named Jiren. Now all of your strongest moves failed. Your strongest form failed. Then you tap into a realm of power that not even the gods have even mastered. And then I bring you episode 110 of Dragon Ball Super, where we see Ultra Instinct, the only form that could bring Jiren down to his knees. And with that, it secured Universe 7's victory. 10 out of 10. Now, let's be honest. We only have one more form left. It's pretty easy to say what's going to be. For episode 95 of OG Dragon Ball Z is none other than the Super Saiyan 4 transformation. And even after that, it was thanks to this form that gave rise to the future power system that we know and love. 10 out of 10. So this wraps up the list. And I extremely recommend if you enjoyed this video, go check out my video about everything you need to know about Dragon Ball heroes. Trust me, it is a banger. And until next time, you guys stay safe and peace.